Hello, thank you for joining me. My name is Yoav Lifshitz, and I'm an artist and curator, and originally I started making art as an artivist, mixing art and activism. And in that sense, this workshop or this project, the PGPoetry project, is reclaiming not the future, but my own personal past. And it also sort of also reclaiming the past in the sense that PGP was, I guess, more popular in the early days of internet, and nowadays people are using different encryption tools, but we'll see what this is for the tool. I will just share my screen, tell me if it works. So you see the presentation on the screen? Benjamin? Okay, so I guess you can see the presentation. And yes, this project is called PGPoetry, and this is the PGPoetry workshop. And as I said, I started making of the artistic platforms, or am I an artist who is meddling with activism? And you will see this also in this project, because this workshop is both a poetry workshop and also a crypto party. And I was one of the first people making crypto parties in Israel, so in that sense it also going back to my roots. A little bit more about my current project. I'm currently involved in a group that is called Artup Nation, and we're running Artup Escalator, which is some sort of an accelerator for artists of the crisis era. And our website is wemakemoney.art, so if you want, go and visit it after this workshop. So, PGPoetry. PGPoetry celebrates the aesthetic, poetic, and political possibilities of PGP, which is pretty good privacy, and it is an encryption tool. Maybe I stop sharing the screen for a while, and out of the participants who are here with me, can you just introduce yourself so I know who are the participants? So, no one wants to introduce himself or herself? Okay. So I'll reshare the screen.
Hi, I'm Maria.
Hi, Maria.
um, so I'm a visual designer. I have no knowledge at all about poetry, so I'm super excited to find out more about it.
Okay, thank you, Maria. Anyone else? Hi. I see Jasmine is writing in the chat. And the reason I'm asking you to introduce yourself because I'm hoping for a little bit of participation in this workshop. And I'm going to ask you some questions, maybe. So we'll see how it goes. I'm back to sharing the screen. This is the first poem I created using PGPoetry. It's called Alice to Bob a Love Poem, and it was lately published in Sci Art magazine. And it's also going to be part of an installation in Düsseldorf in Germany next month. And Maria, or maybe Jasmine, do you want to volunteer to try reading this poem? Yeah.
I cannot see well, and I don't think I could actually. I don't think no, I can't.
No.
Not at all. Definitely not.
So you
Mysterious.
Yeah, And can you speculate
Alice to Bob.
in which way it is a love poem, or how does it make you feel as a reader to read a poem which to look at a poem which you cannot read?
I have no idea. So mysterious. I have no idea at all.
Okay. Just some information. Alice and Bob are actually um, characters people use in cryptology. Instead of saying A to B, when you give an example like A is sending information to B, there are general characters so called Alice and Bob. So this is a message Alice sent to Bob, and I encrypted it as a love poem using PGP. And the second poem, it was published in an Israeli journal of contemporary art. The title here is in Hebrew, but I will translate. It's called Emergency Poetry, New Coronavirus. And the title is an homage to the regulation the Israeli government imposed during this pandemic, which allows the Israeli Shin Bet, which it is the Israeli version of the NSA, to track the population in order to know where they have been and in order to try to stop this pandemic. And as maybe some of you know, it wasn't such a success, but still they keep tracking the entire Israeli population. And so I wrote a poem that I encrypted, hoping that maybe the Israeli NSA will be able to read it. Because as you can see, none of you can read it, but it is, if the first poem that I've written with this project was a love poem, then this is a protest poem. And okay. And I'm going to talk about a little bit why I'm calling this creation or this digital Rorschach's poems. And actually, visual poetry or digital poetry as an history. And as I told you, I am already a curator. I am also a curator. At last year, at the end of 2019, I created an exhibition called Poeticum Ex Machina, Poetics Out of the Machine. And one of the projects I curated was of a Berlin-based artist named Alma Aluro. And this is a Facebook group she opened. This is the name of the group. It's all symbols. And as she said, I opened this Facebook group in 2008 upon joining Facebook. It's active until this day. The guiding principle is that nobody speaks in this group, which means no real language of any kind can be used, but only the sign system called Unicode in order to produce abstract images or patterns. So this is Unicode. I don't know if you know, it's symbols and characters people sometimes use online or in documents. And she's calling that a language. And in that sense, I guess I also call PGP a language, like the signs that are here of the PGP message. I claim this is a language, and I treat it as it was poetry. And this is some of the messages people were writing in this group. As you can see, it kind of looks like a graffiti on Facebook. And another example of that is also going to be usable for us for poetry in encryption, unlike encryption in poetry. Do you know the site with Jitsi? Because I know the people from Reclaim Futures served several online platforms to have this workshop or the meetings, and they decided on whereby, but there is also Jitsi. Jitsi is a lot like Zoom, It's if Zoom was WhatsApp, so Jitsi is kind of like Telegram. It's encrypted, and it generates random room names combined of 4 words. Why 4 words? Because so it seems like I'm missing a slide, because researchers in University of South of California found out what would be like the best password. If you have like an account in Gmail or other services, you need the password, and you need the password both to be difficult for hackers to hack, and both that you can remember. So they realized that if you have a password which is combined of 4 different words, then it is both difficult to hack, and you can remember, like you can make a sentence out of that. And so when you generate rooms using Jitsi, you usually get rooms using this system. Like strong bears confess malevolently, or quiet whales shoot loyally. This is not quite random, because you see like the first word is an adjective, and then you get an animal, and then you get a verb, and then the adverb. So it's not that randomized, but I'm using Jitsi. I'm opening random chats in Jitsi, and this is the way I produce encryption. And these researchers also claim that this is poetry. Like if you, they also generate 4 random words, and they treat it also as poetry. So now we are getting a little bit to the technical aspect of the workshop. In order to create poems using PGP, like encrypted poems, we have to generate keys, because this is the way encryption goes, and I will explain more about the key later. But we have to generate keys, right? So there is an online services for creating keys, which is pgpkeygen.com, and I will go there, and we'll see how it looks. I don't know if you're still with me or not, but if you do, please go to this website and generate your own keys, because it is important for us to continue later. And this is a process that will take us a few minutes, because the computer has to generate the key, and it takes a few minutes after we compile it. So you're using, in order to generate a key, you have to enter your details. So this is my name, this is my email, and if you want additional information to be embedded inside the key, you can do that. Algorithm, this is basically like the encryption level. So just if it's small key or big key, it doesn't matter for this purpose. Just go with 1024. Expires. Do you want it to expire in 1 year, or in 2 years, or never expire? Just choose. And then the password. This is the password. And you have to carefully select it, because you cannot trace it back in case you forget it. Once you forget the password, the key is lost, because there is no service that could let you re-enter a password. So, and as I said, in my own public and private key, which I generated, I selected a password using Jitsi, but you can select whatever password that you want. And then when you enter a password, you press generate key. And then in a few minutes, you will get a private key and public key. So if you are there with me, Maria and Jasmine, go to this website and start generating your keys. Yeah, so I'm just, I stopped the screen share and I'm reading the chat. Jasmine says that she's jealous of those who can read it. Yes, PGP, I think it is also used in Bitcoin. And Maria says she's done, I guess you started generating the keys. So the computer will generate the keys and it will take a few minutes. And in the meantime, I will go on with some content I want to show you. And we'll get back to this website in a few minutes. So, okay. So we are now generating the keys. And while we are generating the keys, I will give some general information about PGP and why it is important in Corona times. As I said, in Israel, and I guess also in other countries, Corona pandemic is being used for enforcing surveillance methods on civilians. And in these crucial times, I think it is important that the civilians will be aware and start using PGPs. But there are, of course, people who are with everyday lives before Corona times used PGP. This is an example of an email exchange I had with Laura Poitras, which is the director of Citizen4, the Academy Award-winning director of Citizen4. And she used to contact Edward Snowden using PGP when he came to her. And she's been using that ever since. She's an American. She was in exile in Berlin. I don't know if she lives there anymore. But she's, I don't want to call her paranoid because the FBI is tracking her. But she's very suspicious and she's using only PGP in her personal emails. So nobody can read what she writes. And Philip Zimmermann was the guy who invented PGP, and this is part of his manifesto. Throughout the 1990s, I figured that if you want to resist this unsettling trend in government to outlaw cryptography, because the government tried to outlaw cryptography, one measure we can apply is use cryptography as much as we can now while it's still legal. So he's basically saying that we need to use it like in everyday lives, and this is part of the ambition of this workshop, like to use PGP in an artistic manner and to sort of have it like a graffiti in the streets, or to have its presence in various areas or fields, and then people will start noticing it. It's like, and this claim of Philip Zimmermann is very simple. It's like before Corona times, if someone would have walked in the streets with gloves and hiding his face, he would consider the suspicious. But nowadays everybody wears a mask, and they wore gloves in the beginning of this pandemic. So now that everybody is doing it, the one who is doing it are not suspect. And as Edward Snowden claimed, PGP works. This is a document he leaked from the NSA, and he says that this is a proof that PGP works, and that the NSA usually can't decrypt messages that are using PGP. So right about now, I think it should be done generating your keys. The website done generating your keys? You can write to me also in the chat. Yes, so it's done. So I'll go back to this website and I'll show you what to do. So in this website, on the top, you should see your public key, and on the bottom, your private key. You can download them like in a file, but for the purpose of this workshop, we'll not be using programs that work with these files. We will be using online web tools. What I prefer to do is copy-paste them. I copy-pasted my public key and saved it in a document, which I hope you can all see. This is a document with my public key. And I did the same with the, no, this is the private key. And I did the same with my public key also, as well. Yes, you can see that. So I just copy-pasted both keys and saved them in a document. So just write me in the chat if you did that. Okay, so you copy-pasted your private key and public key. And now that we have the keys, we can start producing poetry or any other thing we want to encrypt. And the next slide will be an explanation about how PGP works, and this is important, so listen carefully, but it's not complicated. So, as I said, in cryptography, they use the characters Alice and Bob. And so, Bob wants to send a message to Alice. So, he writes the message, which is hello, Alice, and then he takes Alice's public key. You see, it is the green key, but it has the letter A on it, so it is the key of Alice. If he wants to send a message to Alice, he uses her public key. And it's called a public key, but it's basically a lock. The public key is a lock, so he is using the public key to lock or encrypt the message. And then you can see under that you have the encrypted message. And then he sends this encrypted message to Alice. And Alice is using her private key, which is actually a key, and to open it, meaning to decrypt it. So in order to send someone a message, you need to have his public key, and you need to lock the message or to encrypt it using his or hers public key. And when he gets the message, they use their private key. And this is the key with the password. This is the key that you need the password for. In order to encrypt with the public key, no one needs a password because the public key is public. It's not private. This is why it calls. So I hope you understood it. It should be pretty simple. Again, write to me in the chat or speak if you understood the explanation. Yes, you got it. It is pretty simple. I know. So now that we understood that, let's start generating PGP poetry. And the way we do that, first, usually using PGP, it's best done if you have your own programs installed in your computer, because as I mentioned, it is most crucial that no one will know your password and will not even know your private key, because if he gets hold of your private key, then he can try maybe guess the password. So it is important to use programs that are installed on your personal computer and no one gets a hold of it. But for the purpose of this, yeah, can I name some of the programs? There is a program called Thunderbird. It's basically an email program which enables you to add the PGP keys into this program, and when you get a PGP message, you just click the password and you can decrypt it. I will write the name of it also. But you can just, I guess, search in Google for PGP programs, PGP encryption and decryption programs. But for the purpose of this workshop, I will use an online tool, and it's not recommended because, as you know, This is basically someone's personal website, and you can track everything that is being done there, including the private keys and the password. So this is, I have a private key and public key just for the purposes of this demonstration. If you're using that website for this workshop, and after that you want to keep on using PGP, I recommend that you generate a new key and install it in your program. So I will share the screen again. So let's go to this website, sela.ir/PGP English. This is the some website I found online, and this is how it looks like. Yeah. So, and just to demonstrate how we the process of encryption that I get described. How do we do it? Okay, so I open the document. You can see it here. And in this document, I will share with you my public key. Oh yeah, so it worked. So in this document, I shared my public key and I stopped sharing, and I will copy paste the address of this document to the chat, because I don't know if the chat can hold that many characters. So this is why I prefer to outsource it to a document. And can anyone is there a volunteer that wants to send me an encrypted message? Oh, you need access. So I'll just permit access. One second. Okay, so now you have access. And is there a volunteer who wants to try to send me an encrypted poem or other message? Or maybe I will send an encrypted message to you. But in order to do that, I need to know your public key. Okay, yes. So, Jasmine, I'm assuming you want to send me encrypted message. So I will show you how to. I'm sharing the screen again, and I am going to this website, to the website that I told you to enter. And in this website, you have two columns. One is if you want to encrypt and send someone an encrypted message, and the other is to decrypt. We are now focusing on the column on the left, which is to encrypt the message. So this is PGP public key. Here you copy paste my public key, which is basically my lock, and you copy paste it here. So I will do the same. No, this is the name, the document. And as you see, I copy paste my public key, and I just put it there. It's important you copy paste everything with the begin PGP message and the end and everything. Just Control A and copy everything. And here you enter the message you want to send me. This is the personal encrypted message. You do it on your computer. And then you press, okay, so let's call it a try. And then you press encrypt PGP message. And this is the encrypted text that I got. It should be different than the encrypted text that you get because you entered a different message. So now if you got a message, the encrypted message, just put it in this document, in the document that I opened. So put it in the last page, and I will copy paste it. So I stop sharing, and Jasmine, tell me if you understood it and if you are copy pasting the messages that you got, so I can decrypt it and read it. Oh, okay. So you need an edit permission. So you have editor permission. Now everyone can edit this document. And I'm waiting there to the message. Okay. So I see you pasted the message, and I'm copying it. So I will share the screen again. So I'm here. I copy pasted this message. This is the message Jasmine wanted to send to me. And I'm going back to this website, and I need now to decrypt the message. So message to decrypt, it's the bottom box. I paste it here. And then I go and copy paste my private key, because the private key is the key that I am using to decrypt. And I'm copying my private key here. This is my private key. And then I need to enter the password. And I have written it somewhere. I'm just looking at it. Okay, so I need to enter my password. And then I decrypt it. And this is the message, yeah? So once it is been decrypted, we know that it worked, because if there was one character wrong in my private key or in the message itself, then it couldn't decrypt it. It has to be everything perfect, and the message is, "Hi Yoav, thank you for the nice workshop. Stay safe during these trying times." Yeah, excellent. So thank you, Jasmine. And now we know it works. And using the same method, yeah, you can send also messages between yourself. Maria, do you want to give it also a try, or maybe I will try to send a message to you using your public key? So just copy paste your public key at the bottom of the document. Okay. Okay, so I see now you posted your public key, and I will write you a message, and let's see if it works. I will soon send you the encrypted message. So I'm not showing the screen because I don't want you to see the message, of course. So I have created an encrypted message, which I'm pasting at the bottom of the document in a second. And Maria, can you take this message from there and try to decrypt it and see what you get? Remember, you have to put it in the right column with the private key. I will.
Yeah, but yeah, can you send please the other website?
I'm sending it in chat.
Thank you.
This is the website. And in the meantime, I will maybe have more general discussion about this project. As I mentioned, the first poem was love poem, and the second was a protest poem. And I'm looking for what will be the third poem to create some sort of a triptych to convey, because why did I call the first poem a love poem? Because I feel quarantine poem. Yeah, maybe that will be that. Why do I call it? I think it's obvious why an encrypted poem is some sort of a protest poem, especially if it's a protest against surveillance. That's obvious. But why a love poem? Because I feel that people who exchange. I've been using PGP for over a decade, and I was trying to figure out what to do with it because I somehow find it fascinating, and I'm drawn to the aesthetics of the PGP text, which are all unreadable, but some sort of a bulk of a text. And I try to figure out what to do with them. But it took me some time. But I realized basically that every message people exchange using PGP is a love message. Why? Because it's some sort of an intimacy between the two of them, which only the two of them can understand or can know the true meaning of this message. It's some sort of a love poem that only the two people know what it is all about and can have the true interpretation of that. And maybe this is the way to create intimacy in today's world, which is surveilled and tracked. And using these tools, you can keep some sort of intimacy between two people. And of course, there are nowadays it's like WhatsApp is encrypted and Telegram is encrypted, but these encryptions means that they are saying that nobody can get a hold of your message. But once they get a hold of your message, they maybe can try to read it. And using PGP, like encrypted the text itself, when you are sending messages in Gmail or other services, that ensures that even the NSA can't open it. So, Maria, did you get the message? Did you succeed in opening it? No. Okay. I just go with you again about the process. Maybe you've done something wrong, and let's make sure that you're doing everything right. So this is the website, and you take the text that I put at the bottom of this document, not to Control A because it will be the entire document, just this text, and you put it here, like you put it here. I will do that with you. I'm taking the text that I have created. and I'm putting it here. And then I go up, and here you have to put your own private key, not mine. It won't work with mine. And here you enter the password, your password for your private key. And then at the end, you click here to decrypt it. You didn't write what anywhere? Ah, the password. Oh, so you forgot the password and now it's lost. So now you can't retrace it. So it's lost. So this is the problem. And yeah, this is why it's important to write it or to remember it. So yeah, at least it's not Bitcoin, right? Yeah, that's important. But now you don't get to read the poems that I've written to you. I don't know what is worse. Yeah, so that's all. Usually I do it like offline in a physical place, and then I use like the programs in the computer, and I help people to know how to work with them. But for this online purposes, it's just a demonstration of the tool and to talk about it in some sort of artistic practice. And I hope you enjoyed and you learned, and if you do continue on using PGP or creating poems with that, I will write my email and you can write to me. Or if you need like some sort of more detailed explanation. But I guess you can also find like tutorials in YouTube and everything. Thank you, Maria. The poems that I've written was actually, I thanked you because I know you're one of the organizers for the festival. So thank you as well. And that's about it, I think. Unless you have any other questions or comments or whatever.
No, at all. It's super interesting. I think I'm gonna go into some more tutorials to find out about it. Sorry, I completely forgot to write down the password. It's super early
No,
here, and
that was
I've been awake for a few hours.
that was a nice demonstration why it is important, because
Definitely. Yeah.
unlike other services, you can't retrace it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So thank you very much. Benjamin, I guess now it's time to go offline.